That's kind of because why I worked so much. If I could not trust the guy that I had as backup, I had to work harder. And if I could not trust the guy who come out to take over my shifts on a busy day, I went ahead and stayed out because I knew I could do my job and be trusted.
Right. His
So,
his charges included like 9 counts each of official misconduct, fabricating evidence, possession of an illegal substance, false imprisonment, misdemeanors of perjury, and possession of drug paraphernalia.
mm,
Investigators found 42 items of drug paraphernalia in the officer's car, including 10 separately packaged quantities of methamphetamine and 5 separately packaged quantities of marijuana.
well,
Wow.
here's what the victims of any arrest he's ever made should do. They should
Right.
get together, pool their money, find an attorney like Shapiro was or
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Cochran, sue that department and that officer personally because every case that he's ever done is fruits of the poisonous tree.
Exactly. There's 11 people that have testified so far
Right.
and that he planted drugs on them. And the majority of the victims were locals, but it does not appear that Wester was targeting a specific group of people who so there's like no motive behind it. He was just doing it.
It was just leverage for him.
Right.
So
And
he was taking advantage of the badge.
right. And so what really sealed the deal on that was his body cam catching
Right.
it happening. So I definitely agree with you in some instances, and then I
Yeah.
also think it also helps get those bad apples out. Also,
Well, we have a public relation officer in my district, Jody
mm-hmm.
Sims, and he said something to me one night when we hired a questionable person at the Knott County Sheriff's Office over the previous sheriff's administration. He said, "Don't worry, Paul Brandon. It all comes out in the wash." And that boy was gone in 3 months.
Wow.
So, but everything done in the dark, it doesn't matter what it is. And this is why I love the dark. This is why I loved working night shift. Everything done in the dark comes to the light.
Exactly.
So everybody knew I was working. They never knew where I was because it was always nighttime, unless they had a scanner. But they always read about me with arrests and ticket writing in the newspapers. So my name in my area, Paul Brandon Fields, is synonymous. And I couldn't tell you how many tickets I've wrote. I can't tell you how many arrests I've made. But I only put handcuffs on the people that I was afraid of or I thought would fight. Or if I just really wanted to prove a point to them to make sure that they knew I was not scared of them. I arrested more people with my voice than I did with anything else.
Right.
So, but no,
What?
I'm glad they caught the Floridian.
Right. Yeah.
But he needs to, those people, anybody, and I'm talking from the start of his career,
Mm-hmm.
should honestly think about filing civil action against that department and that police officer in general because your civil rights were violated.
Yeah. Be 100% honest too.
Yeah.
What sucked the most about being a cop?
What sucked the most about being a cop? Well, the way my career ended sucked the most. But
Yeah, I bet.
on the daily, what sucked the most about being a cop was having a quit time on paper, but never getting to go home at quit time because the job wasn't done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In theory, I have a start time and a quit time, but in reality, I go home when crime stops.
It's just like me when I was being a mechanic. You get
Yeah,
paid for so much, but you got to do it till the job's done. Doesn't matter how long it takes. You only got.
exactly. If you catch a case, if you're supposed to get off at midnight and you make that arrest at 11:59, you probably got 2 more hours of paperwork to do just on one arrest.
Better be
And I
prepared
never
to
did.
hang out.
I never did paperwork at home. I always did my job at the job and left my job at work. You know,
Never brought it home.
I tried not to.
We have a few questions from our sharing awareness group that they would like to ask you. One of
Okay.
them One of them is, do you think there should be more departments for sex crimes and these online groomers?
Yes, you can never have enough help with cyber attacks.
Exactly.
The last panic attack I had, it was from a local person. I don't know who it was because I didn't subpoena an IP address, but Apple did. They've got the records if I ever need them. But I was the victim of a phishing attack because I've got PTSD and I've set up anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
But I was hacked and through my iPhone, and Apple security saved me from getting my uh, bank accounts fully hacked. But whoever did it signed me up for a bunch of dating sites, I guess, to try and embarrass me.
Hmm.
So, but that one phishing attack cost me 45 minutes of my life in a panic attack in front of my mom.
Wow.
And it took CBD oil that I bought at the counter in Virginia to bring me out of it.
Mm-hmm.
45 minutes fighting to breathe, knowing I was all right, and then a teaspoon of CBD oil, and then 5 minutes later, I'm laughing about it because I'm an open.
I have a condition called cichlid vomiting syndrome, so I use cannabis to fight
I
anxiety.
read I read your bio or your post there the other day.
Yeah. It's an interesting, but cannabis it helps me tremendously get through the day.
Right. Well, Kentucky, we're behind a little bit, but our state representative, she's also the assistant county attorney. She said that she's going to, as long as she's in office, this is hearsay to me, but it was from the cash register where I buy my CBD bud, said that as long as she's in office, they're not going to discriminate against the properties of a plant anymore.
That's awesome to hear. That's really
Yeah.
good to hear.
Yeah. So, and also in Jefferson County, which is Louisville, Kentucky, they basically went green, which means that it is officer discretion whether to even cite or not.
Which is really funny because Kentucky was the largest hemp producer in the United
Yes.
States for a very, very long time, up until the 1930s.
Mm-hmm. Reefer Madness kicked in, and then in well, hemp and ginseng. Ginseng has produced it was either 14 billion or 44 billion. I can't remember,
It's a huge number.
but yeah, it was probably 44 billion in just ginseng from Kentucky. So, but yeah, you're right. Hemp and ginseng ruled Kentucky for the longest time. But now it's horses is our cash crop. So
Interesting. I didn't know that.
it went from tobacco to horses because it's the Derby.
Oh, I guess that makes complete sense. That makes
Yeah.
Yeah.
That question that I just asked was from Jared. This one's from Allison. I'm not sure if you'll have an opinion on it, just because she's from the UK, so this pertains to her law enforcement. But
Okay.
maybe we can talk about it.
Okay.
What can be done to stop the out of control knife situation that's going on? But that is a UK cop question, I would say.
Yeah, because they